friends, you are just in time for one of my favorite episodes of the year. Today, I not only get to share some of my very favorite gifts with you, I get to share the heart behind the people who created them and how they benefit the global good. Speaking of, you won't want to miss my interview with Becca Stevens, founder and president of Thistle Farms. We'll talk about everything from her new book, Practically Divine, to how to live out the mission of Thistle Farms wherever you call home. I'll also help you kick off your holiday season with 5 essential decor tips from the decorating guru herself, Keatyn Klaus. So grab a cup of tea and get ready to be inspired, because this is the Sami Cone Show.
From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Sami Cone Show, sponsored by Gaylord Opryland's A Country Christmas.
If you're like my family and thousands of others whose Christmas would not be complete without a trip to Gaylord Opryland Resort during the holidays, you are in luck, because not only are we giving you some of the inside tips to all of these amazing lights and decor, but I brought in a special guest to help us recreate the magic at home. Keatyn Klaus, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited because, girl, I need help.
I got you. It's really not that hard. I got you.
Stay tuned, because we're going to take you not only around all of these beautiful scenes here at Gaylord Opryland, but how to bring that into the home. You're not going to want to miss this. We're standing outside the Magnolia at Gaylord Opryland around these gorgeous trees.
Gorgeous.
Keatyn, you were literally just up in the trees. What did you learn about how all of this beauty gets created? How many lights are there, first of all?
3 million?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Millions of lights.
3 million,
okay.
maybe? Yeah. They have to take them down every year, but also they put them back up. They take them around the tree, zip tie them to the limbs, and then net them to make them safe for obviously all of us.
But are there any little tips and tricks that you learned from watching them do this magic creation?
Totally. When they say zip tie, those are my best friends. So that is something we use all the time, and I would advise everyone else to do the same.
I need to know, look, I'm a girl on a budget. What are the quintessential items we need to have to really make that Christmas-scape come alive in our home?
Totally. You gotta have the tree.
Okay.
I go a foot below the ceiling height. That's a good trick.
Tip.
You gotta have the lights. I do incandescent, clear.
Okay.
You can do LED, they last longer.
Sure.
I just go incandescent. Velvet ribbon, and it has to be wired.
Wire. Oh, so it has that
It's a bendable move.
Interesting.
You want the tree skirt. We don't purchase the round tree skirts because those don't work with every tree height.
That's so true.
Yeah, so we just buy fur. You can dry sheepskin, or you can buy a huge fur blanket and kind of just squinch it in there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then last but not least, you're gonna do faux presents, because if you're like me, it takes you forever to buy and wrap your own gifts. So
Right.
you want your tree to look complete. So that's our trick to do that. So you're gonna start with lighting the tree, weaving the ribbon in and out.
Okay, wait, I gotta stop you. Lighting the tree,
Yeah.
solve the great debate. Around?
No.
No. What do we do?
You're gonna weave it around each branch and then come out. So in and out.
So lights, then ribbon?
Then ribbon. Start at the top with the ribbon and you're gonna go down.
Not around.
Not around.
I've been doing it all wrong.
And then your largest ornament.
Okay.
We do 5 to 8 inch balls. It depends on the tree. And then we
Okay.
put those deep into the tree so it covers any of those holes that you're seeing when you look back from the ground. So
You have a really interesting tip to know where those holes are.
when you scoot back when your tree is done and you squint your eyes, you'll see blank spaces. If you don't see lights there, then go back and maneuver those lights.
It's like a Christmas Where's Waldo in our very own home. I love it.
Exactly.
The kids could help with that.
For sure, it's a game for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so fun. We're here at the many miles of garland outside of Opryland. And Keatyn, you've got some really special tips when it comes to garland, lights, bows.
They custom tie their bows.
Okay.
We do the same.
Okay.
So the garland itself, we don't buy it pre-lit.
Okay. Why is that a big deal?
It's mainly because the lights go out often. So if you just buy the garland and then you buy ropes and strands of the lights and apply them every year, which is a circular form, then it's easier to fix them when something goes out.
I guess my other question then, at the end of the season, do you leave it on your garland or do you take the lights off?
I take it off,
Okay.
just like they do.
Okay. Keatyn, one of your pro tips is to use nature from your own yard for
Yes.
decor. How do we do that as we're holding pine cones?
It's It's super inexpensive,
Okay,
right? And we
right.
all love that name.
Absolutely.
It's a good way to create a craft with your kids, if you have kids. It's just an easy way to throw them in a bowl. You can add a little snow to them.
There's some different colorings here. Isn't there something that we can do? Is it flocking?
Flocking.
Flocking. Tell me
Flocking.
how to flock.
You can actually buy it in a spray can, but if you don't want to go that route, it is a little messy.
Okay.
You can actually put craft paper on your table.
Important step.
2 paper plates, some Elmer's glue, put it out, and then buy bagged snow, put that in the second paper plate, dip the pine cone in the glue, and then in the snow.
Where you're going.
And then your kids have it'll take them hours.
Right?
And then you have free decor.
I love it. We've learned so many great Christmas decorating tips and tricks thanks to Keatyn Klaus, but there's nothing like experiencing this for yourself at Christmas. So if you're ready to come to Opryland, make sure you book at Christmas@GaylordOpryland.com for your country Christmas vacation or staycation now through January 2nd. There's no secret formula when it comes to experiencing the sacred in our lives, just practice and practicality. At least that's what my guest believes, and I'm right there with her. I'm so thrilled to introduce you to Becca Stevens, founder and president of Thistle Farms. Welcome to the Sami Cone Show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It's my first time to be on it.
I'm so excited to have you. I mean, we have so much we want to talk about. I can't imagine anyone doesn't know about the mission of Thistle Farms because I brag about them all the time on this show. But can you just tell me a little bit about why you started this heart cause of yours?
Sure. We started 25 years ago.
Incredible.
I know, just one house in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's grown to a global movement for women's freedom. You know, really because of this community. But I started it really because of my own brokenness and my own longing for sanctuary and safety. And so I wanted to welcome women who had a history of trafficking, of addiction, of all kinds of exploitation and abuse, to come find a safe place, a home, not a halfway house, not a shelter, just come and live. And then 4 years later, we started the bath and body care company that's launched us around the world.
Right, and is it true that that just came from one of your women knowing how to make candles? Is that actually?
Yeah, I mean, basically, anybody can make candles. It's melting soy wax and putting some essential oil in it. So we started right on the Vanderbilt campus in the little chapel there.
Wow. That's amazing. And how many women came through the program just in the last year?
In the last year, you know, well, we have tons of women that we refer now to other programs around the country. We have about 30 women in residence. We have about 65 women who are graduates and residents who work at Thistle Farms right on Charlotte Avenue. Yeah. So hundreds.
Yeah. It's incredible. And I mean, I love how we're going to talk a little bit more about your new book, Practically Divine, which will direct my heart in so many ways. You know, for me, it's about making sure that you're not only living out your heart's mission, but partnering with others. If someone else is doing a good thing, joining with them. And that can be as simple as eating at the Thistle Farms Cafe or actually getting involved. How can people get involved both here in Nashville, but wherever they happen to be? How can they carry out that mission where their home is?
Well, for me, I think it's really about saying, what do I value? What gives me energy? And I think this is the right book at this time for people. I mean, people are leaving professions they've had. People are questioning so many things. And for me, before we even get involved, it's like remembering what gives us joy and passion, and then finding those places where we can get involved and make justice just a part of our everyday life, whether it's the tea we're drinking, where we're eating, like you said, or maybe it is hands-on volunteering in a local place where especially you're helping women, because everybody knows when you help and invest in women, you're healing whole communities.
Well, and that's just it. And I was going to wait until later, but I can't. This is sitting on it's burning a hole in my lap. No, I want to talk about Practically Divine is your new book. You start right off the bat by saying, you know, love is 9/10 experience, right? Just being able to, I hope I said that right, being able to really just put feet to our faith. And so how can we do that more and show love practically in ways that maybe we haven't before?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And really, the whole book is filled, in my mind, with about 25 years experience of hearing these heroic stories.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think is that, you know, storytelling is one of the best ways that we learn and about the best way that we heal. So telling and listening to stories is one of the easy, practical ways that we can engage each other. It's like, I just want to know you, I want to know your story.
Yeah.
And we figure out like what we have in common, how we can work together. You know, it breeds creativity, it breeds hope, all of those things.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk in the book about we have a God-given right to celebrate ourselves. What would you say to the woman watching that is just like, I don't know who I am anymore? I mean, not just because of abuse like so many of us have experienced, but even just with the year we've had.
Yeah.
What would you say to her to help her really rediscover that joy?
Yeah, I think it starts with something very, very simple that you do with intention to remember. Do something very simple with intention to remember who you are. It could be anything from like, I am going to take a 15-minute walk. I am going to drink a hot cup of tea and breathe. I am going to really pay attention to this drawer that's full of stuff that I can't get rid of. Do you know what I mean? Like really simple things.
Yes, and just to do that. That's so good. I'm going to stop you there. We have so much more to talk about with Becca. I hope you'll come back after the break to hear more about Practically Divine. That's so good. We're back with Becca Stevens talking about her new book, Practically Divine. Becca, what led you to write a book and title it Practically Divine in the first place?
You know, I didn't mean to. That's the crazy thing. I didn't, you know, it just kept coming up that that's Practically Divine while I was writing something else. And I was like, that's what it is.
Wow.
It's about us remembering practically divine. Like, we're almost divine and we're enough divine. You know, that's what practically divine means. Close enough and plenty.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, when we can remember that, it means we're enough right now. It's not when, you know, the kids go off to college, or we've gotten the promotion, or I've lost weight, or I've found my true love. It's right now.
Yeah.
It is right now that we have to experience it.
And you were touching on how, you know, just the simple, the sacred in the everyday, how important that is. But you also talk about trying to figure out the past so that we can impact and change our future. I would have to imagine that's a theme that you're seeing every day with the women that you're working with and communing with. How can we do that when our past is really hard and has hurt us?
I will just say this, that especially for the women of Thistle Farms that I've worked with, their past almost never leaves them. It could be an old record from when they were a teenager. It could be, you know, just the buildup of trauma from their youth. And one of the reasons that it's a 2-year program for women is that it takes time to do that, to unpack that in a safe place with safe people. And, you know, like one of the greatest joys that I get to see is maybe it took 2 years, but a woman has straightened out her past enough that she gets her first driver's license.
Wow.
You know, she may be 22, 23, 28, 48 years old. And it's like, I've paid down the costs, I've made restitution, I figured out how, you know, to get a loan on a car, and my credit's good. And it's, I think that is the work we have to do, even in our heart work from the past. I mean, that's a concrete example, but it's true for our hearts too. It's like, what happened that makes me react this way? What happened that makes me not trust this situation or leave my body? And when we sort that out, we're better where we are, and we can see clearer where we're headed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the practical is a big part of this, but what if someone doesn't believe in the divine? Like, how does the divine play into all this?
That's in the divine is a great word because it's right on the edge. It could go either way. And for me, you can translate it to love. It's all about love. I mean, on every product we have at Thistle Farms, it's love heals. So, you know, practical love, you could say that easily. I don't want anybody to get tripped up on the words, and I hope that people really feel inspired and challenged and just renewed to keep going. I mean, this is a time that we don't need to quit. This is a time we need to keep going.
Yeah, and we were talking about some of our shared Jewish roots before this. I mean, I think when you bring love into play, it doesn't even matter what faith journey you're coming on, that when you love, it covers, right? Isn't that what the scripture says? It covers a multitude of wrongs. And I think talking about loving, we're going into the holidays.
Yes.
We're going to be dealing with maybe family we haven't seen, or I shouldn't say dealing with, getting to see. But maybe if we're looking at it, how can we apply this as we're going into those holiday celebrations and reunions?
Well, I think it's all about being creative. I think Practically Divine is a creative way of living. Practically Divine is about, again, appreciation and gratitude right where we are. And to me, to go into like Thanksgiving with a heart that's like remembering the mercy we've known.
Yeah.
Remembering what we've been forgiven and what we've forgiven others. Remembering some of the moments of joy that we have, even in the brokenness or grief that we've known. It makes the holidays a lot easier to sit down at a table and say, I am grateful. Before you even eat a piece of anything.
Right.
Just to say it, I'm just grateful. That's a huge gift.
Yeah, and we just have a little bit of time left, but you end the book almost with this centering prayer. You say, before we even finish this chapter, just breathing in, could you just lead us in a quick centering prayer, so that if we do find ourselves in these moments, we have something that we can really ground ourselves with and focus on the Practically Divine?
Absolutely. I've never had anybody ask me that question. I love it.
Oh, I'm honored.
So we just take a slower than normal breath. And we breathe in this gratefulness for that breath, for this life, for all the gifts of creation. And we breathe out any anxiety that we are feeling, any worry for the things we cannot change. And we take one more breath and we breathe in courage to change the things that we can. And we breathe out anything that will be a stumbling block for us to keep going.
Thank you, Becca.
Peace and love to you.
Thank you, Becca. I'm encouraged by this conversation. I hope you've been encouraged. Please pick up a book of Practically Divine. Give it as gifts. We're going to talk more about some of the great gifts you can give at Thistle Farms, but thank you for joining us on the show today.
It was my honor.
It's my privilege. Make sure you get the book and come right back and see us. Friends, nothing gives me greater joy than to tell you about products I love that also have a charitable component to them. So let's jump right into this year's gifts that give back. I'm starting with one of my favorites, Able. I can't say enough good things about it, because honestly, not only do they do good, they are good for so many different people, really in different generations. It's cool classics, they are timeless, and you've got everything from bags to shoes and jewelry. I want to point out this Liliana backpack. It's a great everyday backpack. This loafer that you see here in this pony, can we just tell us how much we love that? The thin hoop earrings in the front, and actually everything I'm wearing right now is from Able. The jean jacket, the jumpsuit, the sneakers. They're really coming from a place where fashion is really not a women-run industry, and yet Able is run by women, for women, helping give a fair wage. Anytime you buy something, it supports people, women around the globe, to teach them a trade and help provide equitable wages. Plus, their Black Friday sale is starting early this year, so go on SamiCone.com to find those details so you can save 25% off starting next Monday. Okay, we also love Thistle Farms. You just heard an amazing conversation with Becca Stevens. Obviously, her new book, Practically Divine, would be a great gift. I want to call attention to these celebration collection candles in the front. If you notice, there's words like courage and love and just all these amazing messages that you have. Celebrate. Great scents as well. Those are $20. There's even new scents in their classic candles. We've got the gift sets here, the spa gift set, the healing gift set that I love. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention these guys. Their essential oil bug spray and the moisturizing hand sanitizer. I don't go anywhere without this hand sanitizer, y'all. And this bug spray works like nobody's business. These are great stocking stuffers that they have year round. Please do, you will thank me. Stock up. You already heard the amazing things that Thistle Farms does for women, not just here in Nashville, but around the country. Over 500 beds are being used right now to help women get out of trafficking, abuse, slavery around the country. So Thistle Farms we love. Okay, the Shop Forward has been able to donate more than $5 million through shopping their incredible works. Now, if you are a Ted Lasso fan, this requires no explanation. And the Ted Lasso products come with these little green army men. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but how sweet is that? So we've got the iconic Believe sweatshirt, and then they're famous for their 4 things shirts, and that you can get on totes, you can get it on a lot of different things. We've got Believe, Ted Lasso, Roy Kent, Be a Goldfish. And for our Friends fans out there, again, I don't need to explain this to you, Pivot, On a Break, Smelly Cat, How You Doin'? So we've also got there's journals, there's note cards, things there as well. Okay, we also have Rahab's Rope, which has this great throw and bread basket. Again, I'll have all the details on SamiCone.com. If you love St. Jude, you know they don't charge anyone for their care there at St. Jude. You can really support the mission there by buying something with a logo on it that gives you an invitation to talk about their products, like the trucker hat or the bracelet you see there. And then of course we have the Feed Projects bags. This market tote and this work bag sold out last year, and I love it in the olive green this year. There's the oxblood leather for holiday, and even the tote you see in front. By buying that tote, you provide up to 10 meals for kids in need, and they come in 10 different colors, some new holiday colors. So even if you've bought some before, that's a great stock up. You can buy them in packages of 3 or 10 to give out as gifts. I really would love for you to check out these amazing products, all of these worthy organizations at SamiCone.com. You know, I'll be keeping some for myself and giving them as gifts this year. Now, before I go, I need you to know to hope in all things. I've had the privilege to introduce you to so many worthy causes today, but when we focus on the reasons these organizations were created in the first place, at the crimes being committed against human beings like you and me, it can be easy to become overwhelmed and hopeless. But behind each of these missions is a person who took a stand, who said, I've had enough of the injustice, and who hoped for something greater beyond themselves. Romans 8:24 and 25 tells us that hope that is seen is no hope at all. Who hopes for what he already has? But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. In that verse, wait for translates to expect and look for, and includes 2 characteristics, hope and patience. This time of year can be daunting for many. While we focus on holiday traditions and celebrations, we also wrestle with both the injustices going on in the world and the personal tragedies so many of us are experiencing. I heard a sermon this weekend explaining how we can experience both shouts for joy and weeping in the same body, sometimes in the same day. The real question is, which one will you listen to and lean into? That passage in Romans goes on to say that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. If God is for us, who can be against us? My challenge to you today is to listen to the heart cry God has birthed within you. We may not be able to do everything we want all at once, but we can have hope. Take one step forward in obedience and wait patiently and expectantly for the seeds we sow to take root. Thank you all for allowing me to introduce you to so many good things and the people who are making an impact in our world today. I hope you have a great day. Make sure you make it great, and do not wait to tell someone you love how you feel about them. Bye, friends.